Contact there between Alex Marquez and Marc Marquez.
So we've seen in the last few races that riders have been losing a part of the elements of the aero on their motorcycle, and some small parts of the aero come off and we can still have a very good result, and some other parts come off that makes it very, very tricky for the rider to finish the race in a good position. So we have aero elements that we call the wings on the motorcycle that create a downforce, and the downforce is created by the airflow going over the particular wing or through the particular wing. And this downforce will suck the motorcycle more to the ground. So the aim of this is to always increase acceleration, less wheelie, bike more stable. So purely just getting the maximum performance of the motorcycle in acceleration. Generally they're made from carbon, so it is a very strong material. And generally they break off because of just the pure force that they hit with, you know. So a motorcycle at 200 kilometers an hour colliding with another motorcycle, this type of force, and also the leverage that the wing can have. So if you have a slightly bigger type of wing and that it gets hooked up on another motorcycle, the leverage to break that off is much bigger, so it can come off in these situations. What has happened since the time that we've made aero bikes is we've had to change the balance of the motorcycle. So we changed the balance in a view of having this constant downforce. Downforce changes by the speed. So the faster you go, the more downforce you have. So when you lose one side of the wing, the first thing the bike becomes is unbalanced. As you go faster, the wind goes only over the one side of the wing, so therefore you tend to have the bike tilting to the side of this. So this for the rider is the first thing they have to adjust to. They adapt very well and very quickly, but it's not easy, you know, and depending how efficient your bike is on aero, this effect can be bigger or less.
First of all, we need to understand what wing you broke. I always broke the one in the top fairing, let's say, and this is quite tricky to manage because also the bike is like, the balance is more to one side to the other one, I imagine, for the wind effect and these things.
If you do lose one side, the biggest thing is you get a lot of instability. Like the bike wobbles a lot easier, for sure. If you take a trolley that's not working so well, like you're pushing the cart and it just keeps wanting to go to one side, a little bit like that.
If it's the side panels or maybe the wind that we have in the seat on these things, maybe you don't really feel it, let's say.
Generally, I would say the things on the rear of the bike have less effect for unbalancing the bike than something on the front. The rear tail wing is, again, maybe downforce on the rear tire and braking, side control and things like this is maybe affecting that area a little bit more. So again, when you're in a racing situation, this would have less effect, I imagine. When you do lose these things, again, this is part of the bike, that the bike becomes maybe a little bit more quick, a little bit more fast. It's going to wheelie more, so the rider all of a sudden has to fight with everything a bit more. So these elements also make a big difference when you're losing the wing. When you have this type of effects of the motorcycle, the bike becomes unpredictable. So then in the given situation, what you maybe think will happen, maybe doesn't happen. So the chance of making mistakes or running a little bit wide, so you're losing performance more of that than just the pure performance of the bike.